fact that this woman is a Nigerian shouldn't mean that the impact that she has made should be thrown outside the drain. If the President of the Republic of Ghana can acknowledge that, who are we to find something negative to say just to discredit that fact? Months back, the President of the Republic of Ghana did mention that he was brought up by his Nigerian stepmom at a point in his life, and he stayed with her for years. He even did mention that he was given a title in Offa, where he stayed. Before we go into today's video, let us watch what Mr. President said.
Let me clear a few things first. One, about my Nigerian antecedents. My stepmother is Nigerian, who raised me, and she comes from Offa in Kwara State. And so, what Kayode was explaining was that at a point in time when there had been a coup in Ghana, my father lived in exile here in Nigeria, and I had to come and stay with my stepmother for many years in Offa. So I know Offa quite well. And I consider that my hometown here in Nigeria. And the Olofa of Offa was very gracious to grant me a chieftaincy title. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm the Are Atolashe of Offa Kingdom.
I believe that we have grown past the age where we believe that women's life cycle or lifespan is supposed to end in the kitchen. And I also believe that we have grown past that level where we feel that the role of women in a family is to be underestimated. Those days, we believe that the role of women is just to be at home, give birth to children, nurture the children, cook, clean the house, take care of her husband, and that is all. Even at that time where that was the belief, we tend to throw away the impact of these women on the supposed husband, the supposed children, and all that entails it. Even in the Bible said, train up a child in the way the child should go. And when the child is old, the child will not depart from it. Most of the times, our fathers are not always physically around with us. Now, fathers are being intentional with, being in the life of their kids, like growing up. But in those days, fathers are not always physically present. It's either they are at work or they are doing something. Even when they are free, they prefer to spend their time with their friends out there than being physically present. They used to feel like it's all about bringing the money. Let us put the money on the table and let the woman do the work. That used to be the norm, but that is not the case anymore. Fathers are being present now in the life of the children, and we applaud them for that because it is very necessary. When we look at the adverse effect in the long run, it's not always palatable, it's not always pleasant to the ear. So I love the fact that fathers are being present currently. But let us take it back to when fathers were not physically present, but they were present in other ways, okay? It was the mothers that were physically present. Do you understand that the role the mother plays in the life of a child is very, very paramount? The training the mother gives to the child, the upbringing that the mother gives to the child is very, very important, because the way we see the society today is an effect of the family. If the family unit is broken, there is every tendency that the society will be broken. A society where people don't have boundaries, where people don't have values, a society that is just wayward. Our president did mention that he stayed in Nigeria at a point in his life, and his Nigerian stepmom did bring him up. Now let us take it back to how this has affected the society positively or negatively. How this has affected the relationship between Nigeria and Ghana, whether positively or negatively, you are going to judge. Let us assume that the president, when he went to stay with his stepmom, as at the time he wasn't accepted, he was maltreated, he was treated a certain way that wasn't pleasant, he couldn't stay, maybe he had to run away from home, or the stepmothers at the time made Nigeria a living hell, maybe because they are in her own country and then she treated them a certain way. Nobody knows the future, nobody knows tomorrow. She didn't know in her lifetime that this young stepson of hers that have come to seek shelter, that has come to seek solace in her arms, would be the president of Ghana in the future. We are going to go into reality, the reality of stepmom and stepdad. We are going to go into it later, so just keep watching. Now let us imagine that when he went to stay with the stepmom, he was maltreated, he was ill-treated, he was not accepted, he felt uncomfortable, he felt rejected in the foreign land that he was as at the time. Imagine if that was the case. Now that he is the president, it would have affected the relationship that he has, whether with Nigeria or Nigerians. We cannot overemphasize the great bond that the president has with Nigeria. When he won the presidential election, we saw how Nigerians congratulated him. The big fishes in Nigeria, how they congratulated him and how much he was loved by Nigeria, until he did clear the air on his affiliation with Nigeria. There have been rumors here and there, he's connected with Nigeria, he has a Nigerian roots and all of that, but he did clear the air finally. He boldly came out to clear the air, and I'm super excited that he did that. And it's just a way of him telling us that his bond between Nigeria is unbreakable. One thing I've come to realize is that sometimes the way you treat people or the way you react to people can be an effect of what has happened in the past. I'm going to give you a typical example. Before I came to Ghana, I've never had an encounter with a Ghanaian in Nigeria. Okay, I've never had an encounter with them. At a point in time when I lived in Lagos for some years, I was opportuned to meet a Ghanaian. I cannot express how happy I was to meet a Ghanaian in Nigeria. And I was so surprised when she said she has stayed in Nigeria for a long period of time. In fact, she speaks Yoruba. You can hardly tell she's Ghanaian. Her tonation and everything is purely Nigerian. And she's super excited to be in Nigeria. So I know how I treated her differently. I treated her with so much love, knowing that I've stayed in her country and her people received me, and I enjoyed my stay in her country. We had a lot of discussions together, and that's the same thing that happened in the case of Mr. President. When he went to stay in Nigeria, the way he was treated, don't get me wrong. It's not like you're not going to meet one or two bad eggs. Don't get me wrong, that's highly possible. Like I said, when I treated the Ghanaian I saw in Nigeria nicely, it doesn't mean that a Ghanaian had never offended me all through my stay in Ghana, no. But when you want to weigh the option, you will see that you have gained more than you have lost. You have been loved more than you were hated. Imagine if I wasn't treated well in Ghana. When I saw her, I would have been speaking ill about Ghana. Oh, I didn't like the way I was treated in Ghana. This is what happened to, this is the negative things that happened to me when I was in Ghana. I'm never going back to Ghana. I don't like Ghana. That would have been my lot. But the reverse was the case. Because I was treated nicely in Ghana, I spoke highly of Ghana, I had a good relationship with her, and that was the same thing that happened to the president. If he wasn't welcomed, if he didn't feel at home, he wouldn't boldly stand and say that he has affiliation with Nigeria. And come to think of it, the fact that he was given a chieftaincy title in Nigeria means that he has impacted Nigeria greatly, and Nigeria has impacted his own life greatly, because for him to give back to Nigeria, that means Nigeria has given him something. And me saying Nigeria has given him something doesn't mean the country at large. It should be his stepmom. And this has to do with the impact one person can make in the whole society. The impact that that woman has made in his life has made him have a positive mindset towards Nigerians and made him to have good relationship with Nigeria. You can never tell. The relationship he has with Nigeria wouldn't have been the same if he was ill-treated when he was in Nigeria. Reason why you have to be careful with whoever comes to your space. You have to be careful with whoever needs your help, and you have to render help at that point in time. You might be sowing a seed that the generations, the society will be thankful for. And I realized that even when he cleared the air on his affiliation with Nigeria, so many people were not happy with it, especially Ghanaians. In my last video, someone did comment in the comment section that Nigeria and Ghana share nothing in common. They share more in common with Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso and the likes, but with Nigeria there is nothing common between us. The only thing that is common is that we are both colonized by British. And I was super disappointed. Even after the president have aired it that he stayed in Nigeria for so many years, someone still came under the comment section in my last video and said, no, that's not what he said. That he said he only visits, goes and comes, just because you want to discredit the fact that he stayed in Nigeria and he was brought up at a point in time in his life by a Nigerian woman. Why? Why do you want to do that? This is a problem with Africa. We love to stereotype. We are tribalistic in nature. We hate your brother that is black-skinned like you so much. You would rather accept a white person than your own black brother. If you see a Nigerian eat your Ghanaian food and appreciate it, you are tensed up, you are angry, you are sad. But when you see a white man come to your country to eat and appreciate your food, you're much more happier. What in the name of God is wrong with us as Africans? So this is vice versa, especially with Nigeria and Ghana. Despite the fact that I come out here every time to say we have great relationship, we love each other, we can also dispute the fact that many of us don't like ourselves. We don't want to see that sweet relationship between the both of us. What are you going to gain from it? Nobody knows tomorrow, like we say, nobody knows tomorrow. As at the time when the president of Ghana, ran to Nigeria for solace, Ghana was undergoing crisis. That was during the coup. You see Nigerians come to Ghana, especially the good Nigerians. Why do they have to pay the price for the bad ones? When we see the bad eggs, let us face them squarely, and when we see the good eggs, let us accept them. That is how life is supposed to be. So you as a stepmom, like I said, I'm going to come back to reality. You as a stepmom that have a stepchild that you are taking care of, how do you treat that child? Hope you don't say because that child is not your biological child, then you treat the child anyhow. You do not know tomorrow. Now this goes beyond just children. When you see somebody, when you see a Nigerian, when you see a Ghanaian, when you see someone from Ivory Coast, when you see whoever it is, hope you don't have a certain mindset about that person. Maybe where that person is coming from and stereotype to, and then treat that person according to that mindset, not according to how the person portrays his or herself. When you see a thief, you treat the thief as a thief. It is that person that is a thief. When you see a good person, treat that person accordingly. The goods of people should not be discredited because of where they are coming from, because of their tribe. It shouldn't be so. The good gesture of the president's stepmom has taught me that the change that we are looking for begins with you. And that means the way you treat your neighbors, the way you treat people around you. Because you can never tell how that will affect the society at large in the nearest future. So ask yourself deep questions. How have you treated people? Have you treated them the way they should be treated, or you have treated them based on a certain stereotype? And ask yourself how that will affect the society in the long run. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please do well to subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification so you get notified on my next one. And until we meet next time, do not forget to always smile because you're beautiful when you do. Bye.